what's up? Welcome to Dylan's Garage. I'm Micah, Dylan's fiance, and today I'm going to be giving you a tour of our 1988 Chevy Suburban. I've been driving this rig for over a year now, so we thought it would be fun to give you my perspective on what it's like daily driving this as a mom of two, soon to be 3. And the time has finally come for us to get this thing painted, so before it's looking nice and new, we wanted to show you the true before. And real quick before we jump into this tour, comment below what color you think we are going to get this thing painted, or what color you think it should be. So here's how this is gonna work. Dylan's actually right behind the camera.
Hi, and share with them what the #1 rule is.
He's not allowed to interrupt or defend himself.
Okay.
In the store.
Micah, tell our viewers the story of the Suburban, how we picked it. Is this, was this your dream rig?
I wouldn't say that we actually picked it, but I would say that this kind of just the opportunity of getting the Suburban really fell into our lap. I'm pretty sure Dylan's dad found it online, and it took 2 days before he was on the way to go get this thing. And I think it was in Idaho? Was it in, what?
It was in Utah.
Utah? Okay, so Dylan's dad found this thing on the internet for a really great price, really, really good condition. Inside was perfect. And then he went and got it 2 days later. And to my surprise, it came back looking nicer than I expected. But I was kind of shaking my head through the whole process because it just happened very quickly, and it was pretty far away, and I was like, that's a lot of effort to go get, something.
Let's take a look at the outside. What do you think of the front of this thing?
I think it looks pretty good right now. I mean, we did just kind of get it cleaned. We have some different colors going on the side of it with some, nice rust accents. But overall, I feel like the front doesn't look too bad. The front is looking slightly worse now because took me a year to do something to this vehicle, but I did screw up the metal bumper. I won't explain the story of how it happened. I don't think that's necessary, but I did ding it enough to put a dent in it, so.
We'll fix it.
I think it adds character, and it's not like you would even know that we did that. We just got it in that shape, So.
Well, and I told her now it's time that I get to build a off-road steel bumper for it with a winch. So wheels and tires. What's on there? All terrain. It's a Pathfinder. Do you like them?
They look pretty nice. I mean, I feel like they could look worse, so I think that this is the authentic plate that it came in, right?
Yeah.
With, so that looks pretty good for, being an 88, I guess. It is a Silverado, which apparently means that it was the top of the line at the time. So that, adds a little touch of luxury, fancy.
All right, and are these rock sliders down here or just steps?
These are steps, which actually is really nice when you have kids. They can obviously, get in and out a little bit easier. I don't use them. I don't need to anymore. I feel like I've gotten used to the height of it, and it's not even high right now, but it's easy enough where I'm not using these steps. So to me, they are useless. We are planning on getting rid of them. But for now, it's kind of, it's the authentic way it came. So they're cool.
How do the doors open and close? A lot of people think old cars have crappy doors.
They actually open and close better than I expected. I mean, very easy to close, easy for me to open. Our oldest daughter used to struggle, but now she is strong enough to push this, push it in and
So it's a lot of thumb strength.
It does. So if you don't have it, you can build it. And if you can't build your thumb strength, then you might want to figure out another solution for the door, because it could be annoying.
Maybe a different vehicle.
When I'm carrying a ton of things, there's nothing I want more than to just have a door that is easier to open, because
like a pole handle?
Yes, because I might be carrying stuff in the hand that I gotta use one finger to open the damn door, so.
Let's go. Let's go around to the back.
Okay.
Show us the back.
Well, first of all, we have Dylan's nice new decal that I get to, you know, sport around town. I haven't gotten asked about it by any of my mom friends yet, but it's there. And then here is the beautiful backside. Love a good backside, especially this one.
Then why are you with me?
Oh my God.
Enough about that.
I love you, and that's the only answer.
Show us the inside.
All right, so we have the beautiful barn doors, which I love. I don't really know why I love it, but it has become my favorite thing, to be honest. And even this corky aspect, when you're on, you know, like a hill and this wants to come down, we have these, which go under your tires. What are they called again?
Wheel chocks.
Wheel chocks, I knew that. You just shove it into the door right there. And it's a unique aspect of the barn doors. And I think there's something that we could do to probably prevent that in the future, right? Like,
yeah, I'll probably put struts on it, or when I do the rear bumper tire swing out, I'll do something that can make the door hook onto the swing out.
But it's kind of like having French doors at your house. So like, you know, you just whip it open and you see like this grand space in here, you know? So my grand space currently can fit a double stroller, a power box, some tools, and this fat spare tire, which won't be here for much longer. And if we wanted to put the back seat down, that is probably the size of a queen bed.
How's the space for you? How do you, as a daily driver, mom, we're always going to the beach and doing stuff, putting things back there?
Now having this space, I couldn't not have the space. So I enjoy it because I can have just one of these doors open, and that's plenty of space for what I need. So I can get at least like my stroller in and out without even having to touch the second door. And we can also pull the actual back seat out. It's super easy to pull out, and that gives us a ton of space. So if I want to go pick up a piece of furniture that I found on Facebook Marketplace, slides right into this thing. And I probably don't even need Dylan's help for that. Shall we get to the inside? Because I know that's what you guys really want to see. Let's start off with you guys watching me get into this vehicle, since currently almost 30 weeks pregnant, and it's getting a little bit harder, but not too hard. So you can always use the steering wheel, help you up if you're, you know, not quite as tall as me. Sometimes I use it, sometimes I grab onto this, but usually I'm holding like a ton of stuff in my hand, so I try to kind of throw it to the side and then I get myself in. So as you can see, this is the current state of the front seat. We have like a pretty beautiful dashboard, honestly. It's a pretty massive, nothing, you know, nothing new in it, but Silverado, top of the line. So we got two handles right there, and then right here we have the lock and windows, which are electric. So I gotta tell you guys about this window first of all, because I'm looking at it. This window like had some air coming through it, and our solution, my solution actually, was to fold up a Mentos wrapper and just stick it in the spot that Dylan had something else stuck. So basically pulls it tighter, shuts it tighter. So like I said, you just gotta put character. You gotta embrace the character in, you know, old cars like these.
Tell us about the seat comfort.
The seat is super comfortable. I have 2 armrests. Fits me perfectly, even in my current state. The steering wheel is nice and large, and it's nice and thin as well, which is kind of like my favorite type of steering wheel. I don't know why, but...
Is it easy, hard to turn?
It's super easy to turn. I think it took like a little bit getting used to in the very beginning, because it's a larger car, so you're just learning how to drive the boat. But it's really not too boaty, so I find it very easy to turn. Surprisingly super comfortable driving down the road. It's nowhere near as stiff as driving our truck. The suspension's quite soft, and you don't feel the bumps too much.
What do you think about the gauges?
Well, they don't currently really work right now, so
Wait, okay. I know you said rule I'm not allowed to interfere. One doesn't work.
So that basically means they all don't work. I have gotten quite used to the brake release rather than like another push-in, which is really nice, because on my previous cars, you've been able to push the brake in and push it back out. So it's just, you know, another step to me leaning forward as a pregnant person, but it's super easy. And then obviously you don't have a nice new radio, so I'm pretty used to using these cords versus a Bluetooth in here. It's not super annoying. However, it'll be nice to actually get that upgraded. The AC in here works, I want to say, wonderfully,
but it doesn't.
It's not perfect, but gosh, when we got this thing, I would say that was the #1 relief, when the AC worked to like my standard, at least. So it was approved based off of the AC, and we can talk about it all, but let's go here first. Center console is lovely and large. Well, these cup holders were obviously made for people who had very small hands and cups back in the day. And they are not large enough for almost any of the water bottles I have. And because there are only 2 cup holders, we've had to sacrifice one for a phone holder, and that doesn't leave me any space. However, I have found a trick. I don't think Dylan likes it too much, but most of my water bottles can actually fit in between the seat and the center console. So I can just squish in a water bottle right here and make that a cup holder. And this is nice and large. It's almost fitted perfectly for an ice chest, for an electric fridge, which is my preference on what it should be in the future. I think that would be wonderful, especially since we're big sparkling water fans now. So having, cold sparkling water on a hot day.
Tell us about that thing in the corner.
So this is Dylan's new TPMS, and I think that it's pretty cool. Definitely necessary to have one of those when you don't already have it built into a car. We've only had it for 2 weeks now, so I'm hoping that it does well and it lasts long. There's these little sensor things that you put on top of the valve stem, and they send some signal to this, and that's how that works.
Tell us about the legroom and the passenger side.
The legroom's awesome. The passenger side, which I sit in, when me and Dylan are driving together, I am super comfortable in it. I can often, being a very tall person, legroom is, something that's hard to come by in cars, but I have no problem in this car, so very comfortable when I'm sitting passenger. This is the towel that I sit on, because the seat This is kind of the way it looked when we got it, but it's gotten a little worse. So there's some peeling in the upholstery, and we just put this here so we don't further the peeling. One downside to how big this vehicle is the glove box being way over here is kind of hard for me to access as a pregnant person when I'm driving, especially if I'm like, I got my seatbelt on, I'm all tucked in right here. I just can't reach it well enough while I'm driving.
That's where we keep our napkins.
Yes.
And I think a spare diaper that was in there.
So if I had to say any downside to this front area, it's that I can't reach the glove box, but that's okay. We'll get this dialed in, and then we will have no problem with napkin getting, you know, drink cooling, all of that good stuff.
Awesome, babe. Let's check out the back seat. What's going on back here?
So we have one infant car seat and two booster seats set up in here right now. And you know what? I found out a new thing that these steps are good for, is when I need to actually get up and, you know, like tackle my pterodactyl of a daughter because she's, you know, throwing a tantrum and doesn't want to get into her car seat, and I just smother her. You know, you get in the car seat. Just kidding, it's not that big of a deal. We'll get some rock sliders on here and I'll be able to do the same damn thing. So, the kids have so much space in here. I can fill up some of those grocery bags full of snacks and whatever, and I can still shove it in here. And they have plenty of space to, you know, sit in their legs.
You like having a third row?
Third row is super cool. I don't get to use it that often, but the kids love it. Usually we actually have this seat folded down about full time. But when we get this third kid born, we're probably gonna have all three car seats in the front the majority of the time. I mean, maybe not, but if I come on that side, I can show you how easy it is for me to climb into the back seat if I need to. And I would say that this is probably the best seat in the house right here.
How often would you say we use a third row?
Maybe like 90% of the time. The kids just prefer sitting back here. It's like, I don't know, fun or something.
It's the cool seat. What's that thing?
This is a like choking device. We always have. Okay, you want to redo all
More
of
like
it?
an anti-choking device.
This is a anti-choking device. We always keep one in the car. Link below if you want one.
It's like a suction cup thing. You stick it on your kid's mouth if they're choking and pull the food out.
We've never had to use one,
Thank
luckily.
goodness.
All right, you guys can go home. I'm gonna just lay down right here.
Pregnant girl nap.
Pregnant nap.
Let's talk about some pros and cons. Start with a pro.
Okay, well, a pro that I didn't mention is this seat, when folded down, makes the perfect diaper changing station.
That's a pretty good one.
There's many diaper changing stations available. Some of the cons are going to be more mechanical issues that, you know, come up with driving an older vehicle. Luckily, that's stuff that I'm not necessarily in charge of, but it's still nice for me to like learn and have awareness about. So number one con is obviously just the issues that are going to come up in maintenance and all of that.
How many issues have come up would you say? Have you ever been stranded?
So I have been stranded one time. I was dropping my daughter off at school, and apparently the alternator was going bad, and the vehicle wasn't working, wasn't starting, I don't think. So Dylan had to come and he tried to fix it with jumper cables, but and that got me home. But that's how we learned that the alternator was going bad.
The battery wasn't charging?
The battery wasn't charging.
Any other mechanical issues that you've run into driving it over the last year?
So not that I have necessarily ran into, but I'd say that the most annoying problem that we used to have was the catalytic converter used to make it smell like rotten eggs. Not all the time, but definitely a couple times a week. I'd text Dylan, the egg smell, or no, I would text him the cat, or like the catalytic converter. That isn't an issue anymore, so it smells like a normal vehicle. Having no AC back here is another con. This will get fixed in the future, but currently we do not have any speakers that work back here or AC, so that's why it's nice if the kids actually do sit closer because they can feel the AC in the front. But everything, you know, like folding, surprisingly, like there's no difficulty really with doing anything in here. Like all of the windows roll up and down perfectly, so it doesn't really feel like there's any limitations that the old car has had for our family. I'd say that it's just a lot of the maintenance that Dylan has been doing ongoing, and all of the changes to come will be probably a little annoying as we're, you know, just diving into it even more, but our daughters love it. Sometimes when we come home from school, they request to play in it, and just hanging out in this back seat will keep them content for like 30 minutes sometimes, so that's pretty rad. I'm gonna make Dylan get on camera and we can talk about some other fun details like the price of this thing.
Well, this was supposed to be Micah's rig tour, but I guess I can talk about a couple things. We got it for $7 grand. I've probably put, not including tires, because that's something you kind of got to do for any vehicle, right? So like,
yeah, we did that right away,
We did that right away. $1,000 for the tires, but I kind of don't count that as like an old vehicle expense. I've probably put $1,500 into it.
I think it's been more than that.
$2 grand, around there. Not a whole lot. I mean, most of what I've done is anything that's on a belt in the front, all the spinning stuff. I repacked the bearings, but that's just the cost of grease. The brakes, amazingly, were still good. So the alternator, water pump, the smog pump, everything that's up on the front there I've replaced, and that's taken a lot of time, but it hasn't been that much money, like hard money. The biggest expense is going to be paint next week, that we're taking it to Mako, and that's going to be around $4 grand. I'm going to take off all the rubber, all the trim, those little detail things. That's going to save us almost $700 at Mako doing that ourselves instead of having them do it. But I wanted to get all that off so they don't have to mask around before painting some of those parts where there's rubber. They can actually paint all the way around. Micah, how do you feel about the MPGs? I think we're around 10 right now. I think we're roughly 10.
And I feel like that's only gonna get worse.
Lift, tires, rack, all that stuff, yeah.
That's a question like I want to avoid forever. I don't feel great about it. I have never had a vehicle in my life with that low.
It's a big tank though, so we can still go a long way on a single tank.
Okay, it's a big tank. That's all we got going.
Do you know how big the tank is?
32.
40 gallons.
Oh.
40 gallons. So
sometimes miles. I stop it early at the gas station, like 32. But
Well, it does stop at 32 regularly because of the reserve. It's a 40-gallon tank, but we only really use 32 to 35 maybe.
I think it's worth it. And it's slightly painful living in California. It didn't take long for me to be content with it or slightly convinced that it was a decent decision for our family when we needed something bigger. We wanted something affordable. I mean, to me, I was still like, oh, well, that's 10 grand we can put towards something better. But like,
Then we have a car payment.
to get a, you know, a rad vehicle, even with the paint, you know, even with the paint costs associated with it, for like around 12-ish grand.
Altogether.
Altogether.
Everything, yeah.
I mean, I like to
It's pretty solid.
estimate under.
I'm going to
What
say
I'm saying-
15.
Yes, that's probably more accurate on what the vehicle build will turn into pretty quickly. But altogether, I feel like I'm pretty happy and satisfied with it until another type of like 4x4 van that's like really geared towards moms and is really affordable comes out. I feel like this is the way to go, and I feel like I don't complain about it.
You never complain about it.
No.
Only when the cat was smelling bad, but that's gone, so. And by the way, this can be on the record. Whenever you want a van that's built perfect for a mom, we'll just get a van and I'll build it for you.
Yeah.
So it's perfect for a mom.
You know, it would be really cool actually
Someday.
if a Suburban could do like the slide doors like a van.
Is that a challenge?
It might be.
Challenge
So-
accepted.
For all of you married gentlemen maybe watching, feel free to show this to your wife. I hope that I did a decent job, you know, sharing that I like it enough.
And I didn't probe any of that. I didn't tell her, like, gotta make it sound good. That was all really genuine, actually.
I don't think I made it sound amazing, but I think I do really appreciate it, and I think it's really cool, and I know we're just rambling right now, so I should have said that at the beginning.
Overall, out of 10 stars,
I give this thing a 7 right now.
it's pretty good.
Yeah, and it's gonna be a 9 in like maybe 2 months.
9 in 2 months. I'm aiming for an 11 or 12. Babe, do you have anything else to add?
Make sure you like and subscribe to Dylan's channel. He puts a lot of effort into it. He's trying to do well for our family, and I'm always happy
To do a rig tour for my channel?
being pregnant out here in the sun, sweating
It's
in
getting a little
all
warm
the
right
wrong
here.
places. You're welcome.
Thanks, babe.
Hope you enjoyed, and
Let us know below if you have any questions, comments, any of that stuff. Please participate in Micah's challenge to see if you can guess what paint color we're painting it. See if you can get it right.
yeah, I'd be super surprised if anybody got it right. If anybody does get it right, we will do a special video with the two of us again, maybe.
Thank you all so much for watching. Thank you, babe.
No problem. Anytime.
This is Dylan
Micah.
from Dylan's Garage. See you on the next one.